And good morning, sports fans, and welcome to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report every Saturday morning. Nope, like I said last week, it's Friday morning. It's New Year's Eve. Last week, the show went on Friday, Christmas Eve. All right, so today I'm just going to do Friday morning, New Year's Eve. Due to the fact that Saturday, everybody's the day after New Year's, they're thinking about other things than watching me on the internet. But once again, I appreciate you tuning in. Whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report, live from the best sports establishment, restaurant, adult beverage place in Savannah, Georgia, Coach's Corner. It's all part of the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Why do I say the Coach's Corner Sports Network? It's because John Henderson, Adele Henderson have let me do my show since March 20th of 2020 when COVID-19 hit. Got let go by the radio station, so there was no way I was going to stop doing this. I love doing it. I love getting kids more exposure. I love talking local sports. So we came up with the Coaches Sports Network. Now, the oldest show on the Coaches Sports Network, of course, is Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 with the Atlanta man, Brandon Bain. They talk about NASCAR. They're talking about rubbing cars and grubbing food, and they're very good at it. I was doing breakfast here at Coaches for a while, but breakfast just stopped here at Coaches, so I was grubbing food also. But Brandon Bain does a good job. Lawrence Bennett, the director, producer, they do a great job with that show. They'll be back next Wednesday night, and I think they're going to return every week after the new year because, NASCAR starts big time. I think the first one is the Daytona 500. I got to talk to Brandon Bain. He'll help me out with that one. Then, of course, we have podcasts, two podcasts. Who's on First Base with the coach and Kyle Lawson. Congratulations, Kyle Lawson. The baseball fanatic got engaged over the holiday, I think Christmas Eve. So we talk all things baseball, and with this year with the Braves and everything else that was going on, just a great time to talk baseball. All right, and next up, we have the Hot Grits podcast with Spencer Maddox and Travis Jadon. Those guys are almost up to the 100th episode. They do a great job. So, and then we have a fifth show called The 19th Hole with the Herb brothers, Sean and Brent Herb. 4 straight days during April, they cover the Masters. Great show. So that's the Coach's Corner Sports Network. So let's talk about the Karl DeMasi Sports Report every Friday or Saturday morning here at Coach's Corner. I do 4 quarters. Well, sometimes it's 5 quarters, but lately I've been doing 4 quarters because it's the holiday. Tough getting guests on. So first quarter is always talking about local sports, local news, national news, dealing with sports. Second quarter, bring on a guest. Today's guest is going to be Tim Guidera, WTOC Morning Break co-host. He does a great job. Used to be a sports writer for the Savannah Morning News, moved over to WTOC, special reporter. Now he does his own show, Morning Break, does a great job. He also likes to cook a lot. All right, it's my Irish paisan. And then the third quarter is the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete Week. Well, today it's going to be the best of due to the fact that my guest, who was supposed to come on, is on an airplane coming back from Kansas. Cameron Edge, unbelievable athlete over there at Benedictine. He was like the fourth wheel of that monster offense, the four-headed monster. You had Gurner, you had Thomas, you had Bryant. Well, how about Cameron Edge? He was supposed to come on, but he's flying back from Kansas. Talked to his father, Chris Edge, standout baseball player at Savannah Christian, went on and played at Georgia. They had a choice of either waiting to do my show or getting on a plane and getting back before Monday. So, with all the storms that are going on, I said, Coach, he's also a coach. I said, you got to get on the plane. You got to come back. And then the last segment is usually what I call 3 steps out the door. I take 3 videos that I've seen over the week over on social media, and I play them. Well, today I'm going to do the top 10 stories according to the coach and the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. I got a slideshow. We'll see. It's the first time I'm doing it. I couldn't get the music to add, but I think it's pretty good. So you're going to see the top 10 2021 sports stories that relate to Savannah, Georgia at the end of the show. All right. Like I said, 3 steps in the door. Step 1, high school basketball all over the place. Let me see the scores I got from last night over at the Savannah Country Day Holiday Showdown. Great job by Demetrius Smith, Jim Collins, and the crew over there at Savannah Country Day. They put on a 3-day holiday tournament. Very competitive. They also made sure it was competitive, so they did a great job. Demetrius Smith, young coach, played college basketball, does a great job with it. So the first game yesterday was Deerfield Windsor against Loganville Christian Academy. Deerfield 53-26. Deerfield didn't lose a game. Westside Augusta didn't lose a game, 78-57 over Calvary. Kings Ridge beat Johnson in overtime, third game, 58-57. In the fourth game, I'm trying to read my notes here, Savannah Country Day beat Richmond Hill 47-40. So Country Day did get a win at the last game. Islands against Bethesda, yours truly, I'm the Islands coach, had to be canceled. So we'll go with that. So hopefully we'll make that game up against Bethesda. It's always fun playing local teams. Other games, St. Andrews Lions, okay? They went up to the Monterey Christmas tournament in Evans, Georgia, and they knocked off Burke County. Now, St. Andrews Schools is a Georgia High School State Associate. No, so take that back. St. Andrews is a Giza school, okay? Small school. They're 10-2. Coach Mel Abrams doing a great job over there. Okay, they beat Burke County, which is a 4A Georgia High School Association school. They beat them for the championship last night, 72-60. Windsor Forest went up and played Pebblebrook. They lost a heartbreak. I think it was 68-67. Let me check my scores here. All right, go back. My scores are all over the place. All right, let's see. All right, up at the Champions Classic, okay, Windsor Forest lost to Pebblebrook 86-68. Excuse me. Pebblebrook is a 7A school, okay? Let me keep this on task. So that's what we got right there with high school sports. Rankings, of course, Windsor Forest is still number 1 in Class 3A. Groves dropped down to number 9. In girls, Calvary moves up to number 7. And Bryan County moved up to number 8. So those are the rankings by Sandy Spiels, sandyspiels.com, the number 1 source for Georgia high school basketball. All right, we talked about the Savannah Country Day Holiday Showdown. Great job. No championship games, just everybody playing against each other, get a lot of experience. All right, we're going to go to football today. Step number 2, college sports. Hey, you got to come out. You got to get here to Coach's Corner. 3:30, Alabama against Cincinnati. And then at 7:30, Georgia against Michigan in the Orange Bowl. Okay, Georgia wins, Alabama wins. We have the SEC championship game all over again. And we know, being a Georgia fan, we want to see Georgia get there. I think Alabama's like 13-point favorites. Georgia's like 7.5. Next segment, I'll have the man himself, Tim Guidera, WTOC sports journalist or reporter, host of Morning Break. We're going to break down those 2 games. So that is next. SCAD bowling's on a roll. That's right. Men's bowling finished 3rd at the Tier 1 Lehigh Valley tournament. And the ladies finished 2nd at the Tier 1 event of the season. So bowling at Savannah College of Art and Design, big time. You got to get out there and check it out. They do a great job. Savannah College of Art and Design with all other sports: bass fishing, bowling, swimming, lacrosse, you name it. Equestrian, they're a perennial power in equestrian. So get out there and check that out. All right, Savannah State basketball. Everybody's off for the holiday. I think the men returned yesterday. They did. They played Clayton State. I'll get a score for you. The ladies are undefeated. Don't return to January 3rd. They're at Spring Hill College. Then January 5th, they're at Tuskegee. And they finally come home on January 8th against Lane College. Pro football, Falcons still got a shot. They still got a shot. But you know what? They're up in Buffalo tomorrow. I think they're like 14.5-point underdogs. It's going to be a tough one. They pulled out a big win last week against Detroit. Against who did the Jaguars beat? The Jets beat the Jaguars. I think the Falcons beat Detroit. So that's the game. Pro basketball, the Hawks have been hit with COVID-19. Trae Young came back. I think they had 5 healthy original players on their roster the other night. They came out with a big win. Don't forget, January 14th and 15th, we have the Rumble on the Rink. It's been going on since 1999. Okay, Friday night, the 14th, Florida State takes on Georgia Tech, and the nightcap, UGA. The Dogs take on the Gators. And then on Saturday, Florida State takes on Florida, Georgia takes on Georgia Tech, and we'll find out who wins the Thrasher Cup. All right, so the Savannah Hockey Classic is back. Next up, We're going to talk a little Georgia Bulldog football, college football with the man himself, mid-morning WTOC, mid-morning co-host, reporter, the man himself. Used to be the journalist, used to write the golf column, and then Stephen Elmo Weeks took over that. But he does a great job. Tim Guidera, I can't wait to talk to him. You're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, on Twitter Live. I'm all over social media. Tune in every week. It's usually every Saturday morning from 9 to about 10:30, but I've done the last 2 Fridays from about 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock due to the holiday season. Happy New Year. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Got to thank the people that sponsor me.
All time, that's Coach's Corner and Thunderbolt. Coach's Corner has been voted the best in Savannah for 20 years running, and it's no wonder why. Sports, live music, delicious and generous portions of pub food, all for our fans. No matter what the season, there's always a reason to check out Coach's Corner. It's always game time at Coach's Corner. Pick your favorite sport, pick your favorite team, and pick a TV, and Coach's Corner is your place. Coach's Corner is always open for lunch, dinner, and now breakfast, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10:30. But remember, Coach's Corner still has takeout service. John Harrison and Coach's Corner crew has smoked Boston butts, ribs, and chicken on the grill. You can place your order by calling Coach's Corner at 912-352-2933. That's 912-352-2933. As always, make it a night to remember at Coach's Corner.
At Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics, making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision: faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ. Calvary Day School would consider it a privilege to meet with your family personally. Call Philip Lee, Director of Admissions, at 351-2299. That's 351-2299.
For over half a century, it comes in uniforms, sporting goods, or trophies. Thompson's got you covered. From cleats to caps and the best prices on the biggest brands, Under Armour, Adidas, and more. From baseball to soccer, volleyball to softball, and yes, football too. Every season starts at Thompson Sports Shop. From come get equipped at Thompson Sports Shop's new location, 6606 Abercorn Street, Suite 102 in Savannah. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and seasonal on Saturdays. At locally owned Thompson Sporting Goods and Trophies, come see where everyone is a winner.
You still want some real New York deli and Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road in Savannah, Georgia during this social distancing problem. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering will take calls for pickup at 912-354-2914. That's 912-354-2914 on the phone, capiche? If you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered, go to savtakeout.com, savtakeout.com to place the order. Remember, Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering, we ain't New York style, we are
Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time, it makes you mad, the pain drives you crazy, you just want to pick something up and throw it across the room? If you can, at the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Wetherington at the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
And welcome back to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. Yes, it's every Saturday morning, but the last 2 Saturdays have been Christmas Day and tomorrow's New Year's Day. So we moved it to Friday morning from 9 to 10. I'm glad to be here. It's all part of the Coach's Corner Sports Network. And once again, it's always fun talking about local sports. Well, like I said, at the end of the show, I got a slideshow. I got my top 10 stories of 2021. I didn't add Georgia in there because it's not over yet. So we'll see what happens with that. But you know what? Big game today. 2 big games, the college football playoffs, okay, with, of course, Alabama, Cincinnati at 3:30. And the Dogs are taking on Michigan and the dreaded coach Jim Harbaugh at 7:30 right here at Coach's Corner. Get here. There's a gazillion TVs. You got to check it out. I figured what better way than to break it down with the man that's been following Georgia football since probably forever, but he's been here since 1992. He got sidetracked, found a wife, never went back home to our homeland, the motherland, New York, Staten Island, Long Island. We're close. But anyway, my Irish-Italian buddy, Okay, he's a chef on Morning Break Show. I think it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's cooking up something. Still hasn't got me on there to cook some Zeppelis. So, but we'll break the dough with him in a couple seconds. Joining us now on the Coach's Corner hot seat, the man himself, Tim Guidera.
Hey, good morning, Carl. How are you?
Good, Tim. Happy holidays. How's it going?
The holidays have been great. Thank you. I had the kids home from college for Christmas, but they went back up. They're both at Georgia, so they wanted to watch the game in Athens tonight. So they left yesterday. So the holiday got cut a little short for us with them, but we still have our youngest home with us, and we'll celebrate New Year's Eve tonight. But really, it's going to be all about watching the ball game tonight.
All right. We're going to talk football, okay? That's what I got you on here. But I got to ask you this question. Of course, you know me. I surf for pictures. I've been using your WTOC picture for a long time, your profile picture. But the man's got a bobblehead doll. How did you get a bobblehead doll? Yes, let's see it.
Right there.
How did you get that, buddy?
That was part of a promotion that WTOC did a couple of years ago. If you remember, CBS did one where they had a lot of their people from different shows, Tom Selleck from Blue Bloods, and they made bobbleheads out of them, and it was a holiday promotion. They kind of put them on sleds and with Santa and stuff like that. And so WTOC liked the idea, and so we kind of did the same thing. We're a CBS affiliate, so we were really kind of just borrowing the idea. We weren't stealing it. But a lot of folks have them, pretty much a lot of the on-air talent, all the weather folks, Jamie Ertl, Cutter Martin, they all have their Andrew Gorton, Dave Turley, and then most of the anchors, of course, Don Baker, Mike Sela, Syria Sandlin, and Kyle Jordan, who I do Morning Break with. So, and we made some promotions out of them. In fact, I saw they reran a couple of the weather ones this holiday season. So we got a little extra mileage out of the bobbleheads.
I'm not disrespecting you. I'm getting that picture on my Twitter page right now. I love it. I've never met anybody with a bobblehead before. So, me growing up, Willie Mays and, all the old guys, Darryl Strawberry. I know I'm going back to my Met days, of course, Tom Seaver. But I never met somebody with really a bobblehead. I'm excited about it for you. You
well,
gotta love
tell you what, was there ever a head made more for bobbleheads than this one? So.
Hey, I want to, you went from Savannah Morning News, being, the reporter, golf columnist, and all that other stuff, to TV. And they say people, usually don't make that break. Journalists don't make that break. Pardon the interruption with Kornheiser and what's his name? Kornheiser. I can't forget his partner's name.
Michael Wilbon.
There you go. Both journalists for the Washington Post. They get their own show too, and they both said, "How are we going to make this on TV?" But they have. So you've done a good job there, buddy.
Well, thanks. And honestly, I've got to give all the credit to WTOC, who really made it a very easy transition and allowed me to kind of just be myself. And Larry Silberman, who was the news director at the time when I went over there. Larry and I had been friends for years, and we kind of had some discussions when I was deciding to leave the newspaper, and he was interested. And he, right from the beginning, said, don't come in here and be a TV guy. He says, I've got a room full of TV people. What he was interested in more was kind of like the background that I brought from an analysis standpoint and, kind of breaking things down. I was, of course, a columnist, so there was a lot more commentary involved. And he just said, just come here and be Tim. And I said, you know what? I think I can do that.
Well, you've done a great job. You made that transition. And I know people don't realize this, but old coaches, old sports journalists, we just keep on going. We can't give up the sports. It's in our blood. But it's an exciting time here in Savannah, Georgia. First of all, I know you and I are Yankee fans, but I've lived here in Georgia almost as long as I lived in New York. But the Braves this year. That was something special, wasn't it?
It was great. I was thrilled for a lot of Braves fans. I don't consider myself a Braves fan, but I watch the team. I follow the team. But I know a lot of people who live and die with that team, and it was just so great to see. And really, they were the only team to root for in this year's postseason. With the Dodgers and the Astros and the Red Sox, I didn't have any interest in any of those other teams. I didn't want to see any of those other teams win. So the Braves, it was a great story, and it would just work out great for everyone in the end, as far as I'm concerned.
It's just like you and I, we die with the Yankees, but now I'm dying with the Braves and the Yankees. So I'm never going to go back to the Mets. I'm sorry. I'm never going to. I know this is making a little chill in your body, but when they got rid of Tom Seaver, I said, that's it. I'm done. And then they fired Yogi Berra, who was the manager. So you know what? I went to the dark side. And plus, it was my senior year in high school. Sorry, my junior year in high school when in 1976 the Yankees turned it around. George Steinbrenner came in and spent all that money. I thought Ted Turner was going to do that too, but it took a little longer for Ted Turner. You know, guys with the money buy their teams, from what I hear. So
when I got my dog down here, that's why I'm petting him while I'm here. But when I was young, I was very fortunate. My dad worked for Getty Oil in New York City, and they had great box seats. They had, a box like three rows, 4 rows off of the Yankee dugout and off of the Mets dugout. So I got to see a lot of games, and I got to see both teams. And I was 5 years old in 1969, so I got caught up, of course, in that World Series win. And I was rooting for the Mets in 69 as much as a 5-year-old roots for anything. But I very quickly kind of, became a Yankees fan. My older brothers were Yankee fans. And, although I went to Mets games, I just really always enjoyed going to Yankee games more. And going to Yankee Stadium, that was the place to go. Shea Stadium, I never really got much out of it.
It was Shea Stadium, the toilet bowl, they used to call it.
It was like a giant piece of lawn furniture.
Right. And you and I grew up with Joe Pepitone and Horace Clark. Yeah. And who, I'm getting old here, okay? I got 5 years on you, buddy. The husbands swapping wives with the Yankees.
Oh, Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson.
the crazy bullpen antics of that bullpen out there. So, I mean, it's just a lot of fun watching the Yankees during the terrible times, but they finally got it back on track to the historic times. All right, enough of the baseball, okay? Enough of the baseball. I know you and I could do this for hours and hours and hours, okay? Why I got Tim Guidera on, host of WTOC Morning Break. I finally got it right there, buddy.
You did. Way to go. And we are going to get you on cooking Zeppelis one of these days.
Anytime you want me to come on, I'll have the dough ready. I'll be ready to go. I also made some homemade calzones the other night too, buddy.
Ooh, really? Very nice.
Oh, yeah. So, Mama's not here, but Mama taught me some things. So, it's not a bad deal. So, but we're going to talk about the college football playoff. Don't forget, at Coach's Corner, 3:30, Alabama, Cincinnati. At 7:30, Georgia against Michigan. This place is going to be a packed house. There's a gazillion TVs. There's a bunch of bowl games going on. You can watch your favorite team if you don't want to watch those games. I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch those games, but that's another story. So I'm talking to WTOC mid-morning co-host, and help me out with your co-host's name.
Well, Cyrus Sandlin and Kyle Jordan.
Oh, we got a third person now, eh?
Oh, yeah. Well, you remember Ken Griner used to do it with us.
Right. Where did Kyle Jordan come from?
Well, Kyle came to us from Charleston he probably started in January of this year. Nice. Ken's last day was a year ago today. And Ken left television after 35 years in television, and he's over at Calvary Day now.
Doing television?
Teaching broadcasting, yeah. And Kyle Jordan's been a great addition to our team at WTOC and with Morning Break.
Okay, let's talk about it right now. The first one, 3:30, the dreaded, the dark-sided Darth Vader of college football, Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on Cincinnati. Cincinnati, the Cinderella story. First non-Power 5 team to get in the college football playoffs. You got to love it. Alabama, though, they're favored, like 13.5 points, 14.5 points?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's a slam dunk for Alabama, and I hope it is not a blowout in any way, and I don't think it will be. I think Cincinnati is going to play them pretty tough. Cincinnati's playing for a lot more than themselves in this game. They're playing for all the small teams. If they're the first non-Power 5 team to make it and they just get whacked, we're not going to see another non-Power 5 team until this thing expands to maybe 12 teams. So, they've got a big responsibility on their shoulder. And you know what? They're a good team and they are a veteran team. They are something like 30, 40 seniors on that team. And that is very important when it comes to the playoffs because they're not going to be overwhelmed by the situation. They're going to be ready for it. And they match up maybe a little bit better than Georgia did against Alabama because their strength is in their secondary. And Alabama, now all of a sudden they're a wide open offense. They used to be like Georgia, trying to run the ball and play defense. They still play decent defense, but they're scoring 40 points a game, 45 points a game, mostly through the air. A big factor is going to be not having John Mechie, who tore his ACL in that Georgia game. And everybody is talking about Williams, Jameson Williams, who had a tremendous game against Georgia and is the fastest player on that team. Mechie was the first. He was really the first option and the biggest weapon So I think you're going to see Alabama kind of revert back to a little bit more of an old style and try to run the ball more, and then kind of get Bryce Young going off of play action and then open it up as the game goes on. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game well into the fourth quarter.
Just to throw you Jamison Williams' stats out there, 68 receptions, 1,444 yards, 15 touchdowns. And Bryce Young, the kid's only a freshman, wins the Heisman.
Yeah. And I tell you what, he was the best player in the country all year, really. I mean, he had, even when Alabama wasn't playing up to its best potential, Young was playing well. He didn't really have too many off weeks. I mean, they're not even in the playoff if he doesn't bring them back 97 yards in the final 5 minutes against Auburn. You know, he took them all the way down the field. Remember, John Elway did that. They still talk about the drive. You know, Bryce Young did the same thing essentially against Auburn, you know, in the Iron Bowl this year. They lose that game, they don't get to the playoff. And, you know, who knows what we're looking at now.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. If you're just tuning in, it's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on the internet, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, talking with the mid-morning WTOC, mid-morning co-host Tim Guidera from WTOC, and, of course, the old sports journalist himself. It's still in his blood. The man's got a plethora of knowledge. SAT word there, buddy. So, but let's just quickly, we talked about Bryce Young, the kid, Desmond Ritter. This kid's been unbelievable. 4 years at Cincinnati. I think he might keep the game a lot closer than people think.
He's a tremendous player. In fact, I think you know this. I'm a Heisman voter, and I had Ritter on my ballot. I mean, I was really surprised that he didn't go to New York as a finalist. So, you know, I voted for Bryce Young first, but I definitely had Ritter on there. So I think these are the two best quarterbacks, obviously, in the playoff. And Ritter, nobody's talking about this guy, but he's a veteran, and he just really kind of keeps things under control back there. So they don't have to really kind of come out and do a whole lot. You know, I think they're going to try to play a kind of a fairly straightforward offense, but Ritter's the guy who's going to make it go.
Now, we're talking about Bryce Young, and he's got Williamson, he's got the targets. I mean, Ritter doesn't have a major All-American wide receiver. I don't know how this guy gets it done. I really don't. I know he's very good. He's just like Bryce Young. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He can run the ball also. But that's pretty special when you don't have the talent that Alabama has to get where they got this year.
Yeah, and he's great at extending plays. I mean, it's not always the run for yardage. It's the run for time, which is how Bryce Young killed Georgia in the SEC championship game. Yeah, he gained some yards, but he extended plays. He gave receivers time to get open, and that's when they made all their big plays. That's the kind of thing that Ritter does. And really, if you are able to give receivers 7-8 seconds to get open, you don't have to have an All-American receiver. A guy playing Division I football as a receiver is going to get open in 7 or 8 seconds.
Exactly. All right, David against Goliath. Do you think this one's going to be close?
If it's not, I think it'll be late scores that make it a spread. But, I do think it'll be a close game. And I think it'll actually – I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati is winning at halftime, just because, again, they've got – they're really going to be ready for this game. I think they're such a veteran team and they're playing for so much. I think they're going to be ready. So they're going to come out and give Alabama everything they can at the start. Whether they can sustain that for 4 quarters, I'm not quite sure. But I don't think I would lay the points if I was betting on this game. It's 13, 14 points right now.
13.5 right now.
Yeah, I think if I were to bet this game, I would bet Alabama to win, Cincinnati to cover.
And I just got to say one thing. What Alabama's defensive line did to Georgia's running game made Stetson Bennett, the guy with the ball, was the big factor. And I think Cincinnati is going to be lowered to a one-dimensional team with Ritter trying to throw the ball. I just don't see this being I just don't see it I'm rooting for the Bearcats, okay, because you love the underdog. You love, you love David. But I just don't see this being, I think it'll go back and forth, and Ritter will keep it close. But I just don't think Cincinnati can match up with that. And I'm going to say it here, that SEC defensive line of Alabama.
If Alabama gets up 2 scores early like they did against Georgia by, early second quarter, you're right. Then Alabama's going to pile on. I just don't know if they will get up that much that early. We'll see how it goes. But I mentioned Larry Silverman before, who's the general manager at WTOC, and he was the news director when he hired me. He is at that game today. He's a
Nice.
Cincinnati grad, and he is there with his daughter Hattie, rooting on his Bearcats, and he says he's going to be in Indianapolis in a couple of weeks or 10 days, I guess it is, if Cincinnati wins. So
He must be one happy guy because the Bengals are doing a great job with Joe Barrow. So,
he's a huge Bengals fan, and he's pretty happy about how they're playing too.
All right. I'm here talking with the man himself, WTOC, mid-morning break. Sorry, mid-morning. Morning break. Morning break. I just put all the shows together. Morning break co-host Tim Guidera. We're breaking down the college football playoff. We both agree Alabama should win this one. We both agree. I don't know if Alabama's going to cover the spread, but we'll see what happens. All right, the big one right here. Everybody's been waiting for it. Georgia against Michigan. I got you and I mean, we hit it off when we first met each other, but Notre Dame and Georgia are Charlie Brown to me. And anybody who plays them is Lucy getting to hold the ball for Charlie Brown to go kick a field goal. And what does she do? She pulls the ball out from Charlie Brown. Georgia, Notre Dame always do this to me. I get so hyped up with Georgia. They're finally going to do it, and they get to the championship game, and it's like, here we go. The ball's getting pulled again. I just can't figure out this program. I know 1980 is the last time we got a national championship, and, we've been there a couple times, but I just can't figure out this program there, Tim.
Yeah, I've been covering them for 30 years, and sometimes I feel the same way. I used that reference a couple of weeks ago, but I said that Alabama is Lucy because, Georgia usually takes care of everybody else. Yeah. But if you look back, at least over the last decade or so, it's been Alabama who has been, they've been the big brother. I mean, and Georgia can't get past them. But, this year was unlike any Georgia season I can remember. I mean, they played to their potential every week until the championship game. And that's really what concerns me right now. I think they are a better team than Michigan still. I think they've been a better team than Michigan all year. I think Michigan is going to try to do exactly what Georgia wants them to do, run the ball and play a kind of a conservative offense and try to win a low-scoring ball control game. You don't run the ball very well on Georgia. I mean, Alabama didn't even try in the championship game. It was all pass. And, I said that night that is not a blueprint to beat this Georgia team because the blueprint was put Bryce Young on the field and have him throw it to Jamison Williams, and nobody else has those guys. Nobody else has a Mechie who was great in the whole first half of that game. So I think Georgia is in a decent position going in. Just the last couple of weeks have really kind of been hard for Georgia fans because that was such a bad loss in the SEC championship game. And, Georgia spent their season just breaking teams. I think if you look at the schedule, about 5 or 6 teams that Georgia played came in at a high point. I mean, they played 4 teams in the top 16 at the times that they played them during the regular season. All of those teams lost 2 out of 3 of their next games after Georgia beat them soundly during the season. So does now the loss to Alabama have that effect on Georgia? Are they broken because of that was such a disappointing loss? I think if they had played this game the week after the SEC championship game, Georgia loses it by 3 touchdowns. But now they're far enough away from it. I think they've been able to regroup. I think they've been able to kind of remember who they are and how they can play. And again, Michigan can't do any of the stuff that Alabama did to beat them. So I gotta think that they've got a pretty good chance to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. We got 2 quick stories here. Of course, let's stay with the Georgia theme right here. You got, of course, the postman, Stetson Bennett, and, of course, JT Daniels, the golden boy from California. People just won't give Stetson Bennett a break here. I mean, he's been consistent. He's 9-1 as a starter. He does what he's got to do. But like people say, what worries them is you take away Georgia running game. Can Mr. Bennett get the job done? And we saw that against Alabama. He had a tough time.
Well, he's played well. He's won. He has not played great in big games. Last year at Alabama, he struggled in the second half. This year against Florida, he didn't play especially well. And then he really did not play well in the SEC championship game. So he's on a big stage again. And Michigan's defense is a lot better than I think any of us realized during the season. But they really couldn't make a change at this point. I mean, is Daniels the better option? I don't know. I mean, Bennett gives them some things that Daniels doesn't. And Daniels has been good when he was in there, but he can't stay on the field. And I don't know if there was enough of a body of work there to say, okay, he's definitely a better option. But even if he was, I don't think you can start the playoffs making a quarterback change. I don't know the statement that makes to your team that we are in such disarray after one loss that we're going to change quarterbacks going into possibly a 2-game season to win a national championship. I think that would have been disastrous if Georgia did that. So you might see JT Daniels come off the bench if Bennett doesn't play well. I think he'll have much shorter leash today. But at this point, it's Bennett's team, and you just can't put the game in his hands like you did against Alabama. You knew going into the Alabama game you couldn't put the game in his hands, yet they still had him throw it 48 times. That was dictated by the score.
Right. All right. Last one on this one, and then we'll get to our predictions. But Harbaugh gets no respect. I mean, I'm a coach all my life. I've always loved Steve Spurrier. I love Jim Harbaugh. I love their motif. I love how they're straightforward. They're going to do it their way. You don't like the way they're doing it, they don't care. But the guy never gets a break either.
Honestly, if he didn't play at Michigan, I think he probably would have been fired by now. And he's been until this year and until the middle of this year, pretty much a disappointment out there. And I'm really surprised they didn't make a move last year because that was the season ended badly for them. Does a guy go from that to a championship coach in a matter of weeks? I mean, it seems that in all this Michigan momentum comes out of beating Ohio State for the first time in years. And they rode that momentum to the end of the season, but now that's 2 months ago. So can you sustain that kind of ride when you haven't played for a month? So, I mean, I think if you would have said at any time before December 3rd or 4th or whatever day the SEC championship game was, who's the better coach, Kirby Smart or Jim Harbaugh? I think it would have been unanimous that it was Kirby Smart. Now, the one thing that Harbaugh has going in his favor today is that he doesn't have to go that far to outcoach Kirby in a single game. Kirby is a much better program manager, CEO type guy than he is game coach. So, Harbaugh's X's and O's are what they are, and they don't have to be excellent today to kind of to match Kirby's, because Kirby's are always kind of okay.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, breaking down, final thoughts. I'll start it first. There's 2 factors that I see in this game. They're both very strong teams in the trenches. Michigan's defensive line is very strong. Georgia's offensive line and defensive line is very strong. I don't know what Michigan's offensive line is like. And then, of course, quarterback play. So it comes down to who wins the trenches and who plays better at quarterback. I think Bennett finally gets the real job done today in a big game, which you said he hasn't done in a big game. I just think Georgia's offensive line is too much for that vaunted Michigan defensive line. So I think it's going to be a close one. I like the Alabama game. I don't think Georgia's going to cover the spread. It's going to be like 27-20 or 27-23. But I think Georgia gets the job done, and we see an SEC championship rematch all over again for a national championship.
Well, I mean, I think most people are expecting that. Although I tell you what, it's been an odd bowl season. Big Ten is 5-0 in bowls so far, and the SEC has only got one win.
Only one win.
I don't know what's going on here. Are we seeing a changing of the guard or not? But I like Georgia for pretty much the same reasons, but on the other side of the ball. I just don't think Michigan is going to run the ball against Georgia successfully, especially since they try to do a lot of their running on the outside, and Georgia's just too fast for that. Nobody ran outside on Georgia this year. And, Alabama succeeded by keeping Jordan Davis on the field, but that was in pass rush situations. Right. So he's fine being on the field on third down in running situations because you're going to run right at him if you're trying to run inside. So that will be less of a factor as well. But I think offensively, Georgia will get a little bit of a boost from George Pickens being back. Although they will not have a whole lot of time to throw deep. I think you're going to have to move Bennett a little bit because Michigan does have a tremendous pass rush, 2 of the best defensive ends in the country, actually. Yep. And I think the tight ends are going to play a big role too. Not just Bowers, who's been tremendous all season, but the Washington kid who is 6'7", open on every play and catches everything you throw to him. I think he's got to be a big factor today. So I think Georgia can do a little bit more offensively than Michigan can do. Everybody's saying close, low-scoring game. Man, I hope it's not, because I don't want to be sitting up until midnight waiting to see what happens with this game. But I think Georgia wins, and if I had to bet on this one, I would not bet them to cover, because what is it, a touchdown?
Last I heard it was 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, some of the highlights I have been watching of Michigan, in the last couple of weeks, their offensive line opened some big holes, but they're opening those up against some different, opponents. So, I still want to think that the SEC is the top conference, and that Georgia. Everybody's saying Georgia didn't play anybody this year. I think their schedule is being underestimated, because at the times that they played teams, again, 4 top 16 teams, those teams were peaking, and Georgia beat every one of those teams easily. So it doesn't matter that Kentucky and Arkansas then turned around and lost 3 or 4 games the rest of the year. When they played Georgia, they were at their best, and they were in the top 10. And Georgia, they were never on the field with Georgia. So, I don't think Georgia's going to blow this team out. I think it's going to take them the first half to remember, hey, we're pretty good. And once they kind of get their feet underneath them, I think then they'll steadily start to build and pull away and hopefully win the game by a couple of scores, so we're not waiting for the result till midnight.
Well, Tim, it's always a lot of fun. I know we can carry this on for about another hour, but I know you got things to do today. I got things to do today, and I want to keep it to an hour show today. So
I'll give you one scenario that I brought up a day or two after the national championship game, and I'll make it as quick as I can. But basically the biggest play of that game, the game turned on the first long pass to Williams. And then Alabama said, okay, we're just going to keep throwing it deep all game. But the biggest play in that game, if you remember, Alabama had scored 2 possessions in a row. They were driving shortly before halftime, and they're down to the 10-yard line, and they fumble. Bryce Young fumbles. Well, Nolan Smith from Savannah tries to scoop the ball, okay, and doesn't fall on it. Young recovers. So that is also the same play that John Mechie blew out his ACL.
Right.
So if you look at that and say, if Georgia falls on that ball, they stop Alabama's momentum. They don't score going into half, coming out of half. It's maybe a completely different game. And now without Mechie, Alabama becomes much easier to cover, much easier to defend. So if we get the 2 teams to win today and they go back and they play each other on January 10th in Indianapolis, wouldn't it be something if Georgia wins the national championship on the play that they lost the SEC championship?
Yeah, it could be interesting. Great scenario right there. Yes, it could be. And you just said Nolan Smith. If anybody wants to know, Nolan Smith, 2 years at Calvary, then went to IMG, number 4 on the field for Georgia. And he's right now the number 1 prospect on defense in the NFL draft, from what they're saying.
For a year from now. He's not eligible until next year. Yeah.
Year from now.
But, it'll be interesting to see. I kind of agree with you. I think we'll see both of those teams in Indianapolis, and it'll all come down to the psychology of Georgia against Alabama again. But
we'll
get
see.
Past Michigan first.
You got it. We got to win first, and if they do make it to the championship, we got to get you back on with our cohort, Stephen Weeks, and you two going at it. You two going out, it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
we agree on most things Georgia football related. He's a traditional guy. He likes the way that he wants to see them run the ball and play defense. And I think, I don't know if that's the way that you can win in today's modern game, but it's the way that Georgia should win. So, it's their best chance. So we'll get him back on here. And I think you'd be surprised at how much we agree on.
Well, it'll be fun to find out, and I hope it does. So we both pick Alabama and Georgia. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy your New Year's. I know your kids are up there in Georgia. They want to enjoy it there, and got to love that bobblehead doll, buddy.
All right, Carl. Great seeing you, and enjoy the games today, and hopefully we're doing this again in 11 days. And
let me know, Zaples Calazones, the guy can do it. Talk to you later, Tim.
All right, buddy.
Tim Guidera, great guy. Loves his sports. He's been here since 1992, started with Savannah Morning News, went over to WTOC. But you want to talk to a guy that knows his sports, just like Stephen Elmo Weeks. These two guys together is always a lot of fun. And hopefully we can get them together next week or before the national championship game, when it will be Alabama or I think it should be Alabama against Georgia in the championship game. All right, next up, we're going to go 3 steps out the door, but we're not going to do 3 steps videos. I got a slideshow for you. I'm going to give you the Karl DeMasi Sports Report, the coaches' top 10 stories of 2021 here in Savannah, Georgia, or that related to Savannah, Georgia. Once again, I got to thank my sponsors, so I'll be back in about 3 minutes. You're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on a Friday morning on New Year's Eve 2021 here at Coach's Corner, the center of sports universe. Come on down. They're going to have all the TVs on. You got Alabama, Cincinnati at 3:30. And I could smell the wings already, or I could smell the cooking going on already. The aroma, okay, is the ambiance is unbelievable here right now with food. And then, of course, at 7:30, Georgia against Michigan. You can get yourself a Coach's Corner T-shirt. Unbelievable. Sent 2. Going to send 2 to friends up in New York. That's where I do my show. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Karl DeMasi Sports Report, all on the Coach's Corner Sports Network.
All time, that's Coach's Corner and Thunderbolt. Coach's Corner has been voted the best in Savannah for 20 years running, and it's no wonder why. Sports, live music, delicious and generous portions of pub food, all for our fans. No matter what the season, there's always a reason to check out Coach's Corner. It's always game time at Coach's Corner. Pick your favorite sport, pick your favorite team, and pick a TV, and Coach's Corner is your place. Coach's Corner is always open for lunch, dinner, and now breakfast, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10:30. But remember, Coach's Corner still has takeout service. John Harrison and Coach's Corner crew has smoked Boston butts, ribs, and chicken on the grill. You can place your order by calling Coach's Corner at 912-352-2933. That's 912-352-2933. As always, make it a night to remember at Coach's Corner.
At Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics, making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision: faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ. Calvary Day School would consider it a privilege to meet with your family personally. Call Philip Lee, Director of Admissions at 351-2299. That's 351-2299.
For over half a century, when it comes to uniforms, sporting goods, or trophies, Thompson's got you covered. From cleats to caps and best prices on the biggest brands, Under Armour, Adidas, and more. From baseball to soccer, volleyball to softball, and yes, football too. Every season starts at Thompson Sports Shop. From cutting and equipped at Thompson Sports Shop's new location, 6606 Abercorn Street, Suite 102 in Savannah. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and seasonal on Saturdays. At locally owned Thompson Sporting Goods and Trophies, come see where everyone is a winner.
You still want some real New York deli and Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road in Savannah, Georgia during this social distancing problem. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering will take calls for pickup at 912-354-2914. That's 912-354-2914 on the phone. Kabish. If you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered, go to savtakeout.com, savtakeout.com to place the order. Remember, Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering. We ain't New York style. We are New York.
Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time. It makes you mad. The pain drives you crazy. You just want to pick something up and throw it across the room. If you can, at the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Wetherington at the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
There we go. Welcome back to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report, live here at Coach's Corner on New Year's Eve 2021 for the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. We're at quarter number 4. That means it's the last quarter. And what I usually do, I call this 3 steps out the door. I take 3 videos that I've seen on social media, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, and I show them to the fans and give you my take on why they're my top 3 videos of the week. Well, I decided to do something else. Of course, with good buddy WJCL sports reporter, sports director, anchor, Frank Slikowski. We talked about the top stories that went on here in Savannah, Georgia in 2021. Now, you might agree with them. You might say my order is my order is not right. Who should be number one? Who should be number three? But you know what? I have 10 stories that I thought made a big impact here in Savannah, Georgia. Once again, it's a lot of fun. My Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week couldn't make it. So I'm just going to jump into the end of the show. So I know I had a Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week, but I got to thank Dr. Bart Wetherington. He's been sporting the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. This week was supposed to be Benedictine Cadet Cam Edge. BC had an unbelievable season. Once again, congratulations to Danny Britt, Holden Gurner. Danny Britt, the AJC Class 4A Coach of the Year. That's pretty special in the paper in Georgia. Makes you the Coach of the Year. And Holden Gurner, the Offensive Player of the Year. Justin Thomas got on there. I think Holden Sapp got on there. So it was just great to see that. So, but yeah, I'm going to end it up. I'm going to keep it to an hour. This is the coaches' top 10 stories of 2021. All right, so here we go. Top 10 stories of 2021. Number 10 goes to the man himself. This kid is unbelievable. Michael Carter Racing. Michael Carter, graduate of Benedictine Military School. He's on the Miata Racing Circle. Has done a great job. Last year, he finished number one. As you can see, got a nice $200,000 check there to keep his racing team going. And I'm sorry about the picture where Michael's standing in his racing uniform, but proud sponsor of Michael Carter Racing is Coach's Corner. Right here on the, you can't see it, but on the hood is the Coach's Corner logo. You're going to hear a lot about Michael Carter. Unbelievable kid, unbelievable race car driver, and he's still going to school. He's a full-time student at Georgia Tech in the business department. So Michael Carter, he's my number 10 story of 2021. Next up, the End Market Arena. Let me go with this. Let me get me out of here, okay? The End Market Arena. It's beautiful. We have our last Rumble in the Rink, January 14th and 15th, the End Market Savannah Hockey Classic. But the following year, it's going to be in this beautiful facility, the End Market Arena. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait. So that's number 10. That's number 9 on my top 10. Well, got to go to number 8, the new tenants of the End Market Arena. Savannah is going to have a professional hockey team. We've done a great job with the Rumble in the Rink, with the college hockey teams coming in here. But now we're going to have a professional hockey team. They're associated with the East Coast Hockey League. They're going to be affiliated with an NHL team. You got to love it. You got to love it. So that's number 8. Number 7, Forest City Gun Club Clay Sporting Champions. The SC, Scholastic Clay Tournament champions again. You see that group. They went out there, the Forest City Gun Club. They do a game. Coach Gutierrez and the whole group there do a great job. Number 7 story of 2021 is the Forest City Gun Club Junior Clay Sporting Team winning a championship. Let's stay right on that note. Number 6, back-to-back. We hear about Benedictine football. We hear about Benedictine baseball. But do you know that Benedictine Clay Sporting Team is a powerhouse, has a dynasty? Back-to-back Giza Clay Target Sports champions. What more can I tell you? They do a great job over there. And the tournament, the Giza championships has been held at the Forest City Gun Club. A lot of these guys are part of the Forest City Gun Club Junior Clay Sporting Team. So that's my number 6 story. Number 7, I got to go with Savannah State. Well, Coach, your son's the interim head coach. No, not because my son. Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd, people. They're packing the stadium, T.A. Wright Stadium, at Savannah State for football. Sean Quinn, who left to go to Virginia Tech, and yes, my son is the interim head coach. What they've done over there with that program is unbelievable. They got excitement. I mean, I've been following it now for 7 years, okay? I've been following it my whole life because it is the only college football team here in Savannah, Georgia, all right? But when you pack the house over homecoming, That's right. We know Savannah State is known for its homecoming. While when you keep the fans in the stands and not in the parking lot, you're doing something right. Savannah State University football is my 5th best story of 2021. Now we go to number 4. 4 state titles. The Havisham School. Little private school on Havisham Avenue, Havisham Street. I mean, volleyball, swimming, tennis, and baseball. 4 Georgia it's called GAPS, the Georgia Association of Private and Parochial Schools Association. 4 championships in 1 year. How does this team not get any respect? They're the Rodney Dangerfield of, if you don't know Rodney Dangerfield, he was a comedian who never got respect, of sports here in Savannah, Georgia. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 championships. They do a great job over there. Havisham Patriots, congratulations. You're my 4th top story for 2021. Number 3, okay, I got to take my face out of here so you can see it. You got it. In Savannah, Georgia, and I know some people will say, well, Coach, that should be the number 1 story. The Atlanta Braves. Everybody wrote them off at the midway point because they could never get to 500. And what do? They win a World Series. Now, I hope Freddie Freeman comes back and Ronald Acuna is going to be cured, and we know we got the skipper coming back. So, that would be my 3rd big story of the 2020 sports season here in Savannah, Georgia. I know it's national, but come on, we're Braves fans here in Savannah, Georgia. The TP Pavilion, John Henderson, what he does every year when the Braves make the playoffs. It's a big story here in Savannah, Georgia. Number 2, well, we got our own champion baseball team here, the Savannah Bananas. The Coastal Plain League champions for 2021. They won their first one in 2016. They come back to this year. They've made that old stadium come alive. Historic Grayson Stadium is alive with baseball. Yeah, I know when they're not playing in the Coastal Plain League and not playing real baseball, they're playing banana ball. But Jesse Cole, Jared Orton, Biko Silva, and that whole crew over there does such a great job. I mean, you got to love it. It's Savannah, Georgia. Historic Grayson Stadium is alive. They're bringing back the ghost of the past. It's just a great story. That's my number 2 story. And you know what? I'm a high school coach. I'm a high school fanatic. The number 1 story, Danny Britt and Benedictine football. Danny Britt wins his 3rd state championship since he's taken over that program 11 years. They started out 0-2, and everybody had them for dead. Oh, BC, what's wrong? They played 2 pretty good teams to start off the season. Then they ran the table. They win a national championship. I mean, what more can I tell you? So the number 1 story for me was the Georgia High School State Association 4A football champions, the Benedictine Military School Cadets, winning their 3rd championship under Danny Britt. The man does a great job. December 29th with his birthday. Happy birthday, Coach. And I'm going to try and get Holden Gerner to talk about him leaving early. He's playing in the Under Armour All-Star game. He's blowing it off the charts there. And, of course, Cameron Edge, who was the 4th cog or the 4th monster in that offense. So we'll be talking to them. But once again, those are my top 10 stories for 2021. I hope you liked it. I hope it went well. I try to add music to it, but, I'm a novice at this. But I got my slideshow to work. I'm happy about that. It's New Year's Eve, 2021. Remember, Coach's Corner is going to be open here. It's going to be hopping. It's going to be live. Bowl games galore. 3:30, Alabama against the Bearcats in Cincinnati. The Cinderella story. First non-Power 5 football program to make it into the college football playoffs. There should be 12-team playoff, but I'm not going to get into that. And then, of course, at 7:30, there it is, representing the Bulldogs. Let me get up there. I got to show you the G. The Bulldogs, okay, taking on Michigan. Wolverines for Jim Harbaugh. It's going to be a heck of a game. I'm glad you have joined me this morning, whether it was for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like I said, the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete will be back next week due to the fact that Cameron Edge, Benedictine football player, he was a big reason why, when Thomas and Bryant and Herner were shut down, they made some unbelievable plays. He's in Kansas. He was out there all week for, I don't know if it was baseball or football, but I got a call yesterday about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Coach, I'm apologizing. His father, Chris Edge, like I told you, standout baseball player at Savannah Christian, then went on and played for Georgia. and great director of chain baseball and coach of baseball. Coach, we're not going to make it. We got a choice, either to do your show or get on a plane and make it home before the storm comes in here in Kansas on Monday. So, yeah, I'd get out of Kansas too. So, Cam Edge, next week, I will have him on. But once again, thank you for listening. It's been a great show. Tim Guidera, always great. WTOC Morning Break co-host. Tim Guidera, also former Savannah Morning News sports reporter, does a great job, knows his sports, and got to love him breaking down Georgia and Alabama for me today. I'll be back next week, and it'll be back on Saturday, right? The Karl DeMasi Sports Report every Saturday live right here from the center of the sports universe, and that's, of course, Coach's Corner. Happy New Year. God bless. Whatever you're doing today or tomorrow, always hit it at the park. And until I talk to you next week, may it be your best week ever. Happy New Year.